What's up, guys? Back here with another video for you today. This is one of the several updates I mentioned was going to be occurring in the last video. It's going to be I have at least three more parts to the CDs, and then I have an analog update, which is going to be tapes, and then I might have a separate one for vinyl. So I have like pretty much through the end of the year covered here. I might wind up doubling up 1 week so I could fit my end of the year list. And I guess I try to put that out on the 31st of the year. So if that falls on a Friday by chance, whatever. If not, you guys get an extra video on that one. So, before I keep blabbing, I was looking at my record shelf. I didn't know what I wanted to play in the background. And for whatever reason, this one jumped right out at me and basically hopped in the CD player itself. I haven't listened to Zassler in a long time, and I have no idea why, but it's still amazing. It's such an emotive journey. I mean, this Defective Epitaph record, it eluded me for a long time. Like, I didn't own it forever, but now that I have it, it's got to get played regularly. Seriously, it's like I mean, listen to how somber that is. It's just horrifyingly eerie. Like, the pale white cemetery is a perfect aesthetic. Next, Triple Beezer, double dry hopped triple IPA out of Irving Brewing Company, which is I believe it's Irving Park in Chicago. This is a serious beer. IPAs aren't my go-to. I do like them. I've mentioned that before. But like Norwegian Black Cult, dude, if you somehow manage to get one of these, you'd be buying cases and sending it back to Estonia, guaranteed. Ooh, look at that. All foam. So this is like a pretty almost hazy, unfiltered IPA. It's Citra and Mosaic hops, so it's a really earthy kind of floral taste. All foam. It's also unfiltered. You can see chunks of live culture in the beer itself, which is something I really like. I don't know if you can see it. Whatever. All right, that's enough beer. You guys are here for some metal. First off, so this is all going to be stuff that's not really extreme metal. There's some hardcore punk. There's some doom metal, some symphonic metal, some traditional metal. One thing that's going to get put in my crap metal section being industrial and new metal, things like that, but you'll see me talk about that in a minute. So first, we're starting off Heated with Lamentations by Solstice. I'd seen this name mentioned about, and like I'd listened to it for the first time probably in the past 2 years. I think Liam over the Death Doom Metal had finally mentioned it and then finally triggered me checking it out. And then I saw it in the Hell's Headbangers distro, and I was like, gotta get it. So this is out on Cosmic Key Creations. It's a really nice kind of European jewel case. I don't remember the exact name of this kind of jewel case, but this is a sort of war-themed, Viking-themed, pagan-ish themed epic doom metal record. It is trudgingly slow with some heavier metal parts here and there, but it seems like a pretty Viking-ish theme to it. It's definitely not questing metal unless you're maybe like after a battle you're all wounded and wandering around, but it's a really interesting release. I mean, when you think of epic doom, pretty much everybody right off the bat thinks of Candlemass, which deservedly so. I think the big thing that holds this band back from becoming bigger, apart from this being terribly out of press for far too long, and this not being the most popular style that there is the vocalist. The vocalist, he's really, really entertaining to listen to, but he's not the most original sounding vocalist you ever heard in your life. He's a very like average level, normal vocalist for heavy metal, which is pretty, it's pretty good, but it does a disservice in the way of I don't think it's as memorable to certain people. Fun is back, being a sweetie. Kronos is over there. He'll probably stop by too. So yeah, I'm gonna call it on Solstice there. Next, Bad Music for Bad People by The Cramps. Great punk record, old school. I guess you would call this psychobilly, rockabilly kind of. It's like that early style of punk where it's a mixture between like the Elvis kind of crooner vocal style with some weird artsy fartsiness to it. It's pretty punk mentally rather than musically, if you get what I mean. It's definitely like a rockabilly, psychobilly, punkish mixture. I mean, if you like the Stray Cats, and imagine what it was like for like the Velvet Underground and like the Stray Cats kind of mixed together or something. It's weird. The Cramps are cool. They have a really weird aesthetic to them. A lot of you guys, I'm sure, have heard these guys. I hope so, at least. If not, I've always loved this album cover. I heard this in a Jim Greco. He's a professional skateboarder. He was on Death Wish Skateboards at the time. He had a Cramps song in the part, in one of his video parts. And ever since then, I didn't like really listen to it. But I had this on in the basement here when we were, Paige and I were putting insulation on the windows because it's freezing down here sometimes. And the song came on, and I think it was I Can't Hardly Stand It. I think it's actually Greco's part from Baker's of Death Wish, if you guys are skateboarding fans. So yeah, this is where that came from, and that's why I like it so much. Next, here's 2 discs from a band that everybody knows. This is not new to me. Hopefully I don't yak too much about it. But I got 2 Priest albums here. Rockarola, the first one. I pretty much would never purchase this outright. This is a used bin record in my book. It's a good record. It's fun. It's not super duper heavy. It's entertaining, but it's, you know, it's a hard rock heavy metal album from the early late 70s. Actually, 74. I mean, that's pretty late 70s out, or early 70s. It's Bob Halford on the back here. If you guys didn't see, if you guys have a copy of this, Bob Halford. It's pretty run-of-the-mill for its time, maybe a little heavier than most things, more along the UFO and the early Scorpion style of things. It's good. And then this one. This is a dynamite album, dude. Judas Priest, Sad Wings of Destiny. This is just an absolutely top-tier heavy metal record. It's epic as everything you could think of. I mean, Island of Domination, Dream Deceiver, Victim of Changes, the opener. The Ripper is a super catchy track. This is definitely, I don't know if I would say definitely, but this is more than likely my second favorite Judas Priest album. It's so good, dude. It's super, super epic. The album cover's cool as well. So that's always something that gets me pulled in. I picked up both of these from a used bin in my local record store. They just got it in. It was like an older metal guy selling some of his CDs. I had replaced the jewel cases because they were nicotine stained from the guy probably hotboxing his music room. So they were well loved and well listened to. Next, I picked this up for like $4 out of a used bin just for basically respect's sake. This is Night Castle by Trans-Siberian Orchestra. So the only reason I even cared to pick this up is I know that it is basically Sabotage. Just doing something way more bombastic and way more artsy-fartsy college, wine swirler. And it is that exactly. It's kind of like almost the natural progression from where Sabotage left off, leading into like the further on styling of which that they would have probably carried on to if they had continued the band, in all honesty. It makes perfect sense to me. It's interesting. I was playing this as well when we were insulating the windows, and Paige was humming stuff along, and I'm like, how do you know this? Because like I'd never heard this, and she's like, oh, this isn't a ballet. This is I heard this on Dance Moms or whatever nonsense she's doing. And so it's interesting. It's really epic. It's theatrical. I don't know. Go listen to it yourself. You can pick these up super cheap. They're always in used bins. I would recommend paying a couple of dollars for it. Let me show you the inside here, because if I remember right, this is freaking sweet. Look at the inside here. Gotta love it. Nice booklet. Looks like some like old tattered paper inside. I really like this, these two photos in here. He's got his own little Chronos bothering him right there. Love it. Definitely listen to this Trans-Siberian Orchestra record if you have not. I was talking to Eli over Dark Hymns, and he said that the first Trans-Siberian Orchestra basically sounds like more of what Sabotage would have been doing at the time, so that's interesting. Next is another one I got out of the Nicotine Stained Shoebox. This is On Through the Night by Def Leppard. If you don't own this, dude, because it says Def Leppard, change your mindset. This is dynamite. This is top tier new wave of British heavy metal stuff, dude. Every single day of the week, this is amazing. I put this on the PA at band practice while we were eating. We ordered pizza and we were like chilling, and I was like, dude, I've been listening to some like Def Leppard and stuff like that, and some Whitesnake, and I was talking to the boys, and like my bass player made a stank face at me when it said I was listening to Def Leppard, and I'm like, no, hang on. So I put this on, and the first track, Rock Brigade, came on, and he was like, I like Def Leppard. And he was like disgusted with himself that he actually liked Def Leppard, which is hilarious because, you know, I don't know, I guess I kind of had the similar thing too, just because I'm not a huge like arena rock guy. This beer is like physically thick. It's the last of the 4-pack that I got. I've actually been saving it for this video. Next, one of my favorite albums of like middle school and early high school. This is Sleep's Holy Mountain. Dude, this record is so much fun. I'm sure most of you guys know this, but if not, I'm going to talk about it some too. I think Dope Smoker's kind of boring, but this, dude, there's a bunch of different great tracks. I mean, it starts off with Dragonaut, which is like the big sleep hit, I would say, or Dragnaut, however you pronounce it. I've always thought that was a sick logo. I think this would be really sick as like an all over print t-shirt. Just a thought. But like, this is a record that I listened to constantly when I was like 13, 14, 15. I was just all about it. I didn't even smoke weed. I don't know what I loved so much about it. I just really was all about stoner and doom at the time. Look at these friggin' dorks, dude. These guys, if these guys weren't selling dime bags, sitting on the half pipe at skate parks, I don't know. I don't think I've ever been to a skate park then. But my favorite track on here's got to be the Druid. The dun 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 dun. Super heavy, dude. That, and then the title track, Holy Mountain, also amazing. It's just a great all-around record. You guys have heard this. If you guys sleep on Sleep because you think Dope Smoker's annoying, I feel you and I sympathize with you. But definitely give this one a listen. It's catchy, it's fun. If you want more like traditional doom style, definitely get on it. Next, a little more early heavy metal stuff. Some really good, you know, traditional metal. Tooth and Nail by Dokken. I picked this up at the record store. And basically, as soon as I went up there, the owner was like, screw Don Dokken, he's the worst. Apparently, he had a mishap where he met him and he was a jerk. So that's annoying, but this is a great record. I would absolutely say don't sleep on this one too. Same thing as like the Def Leppard issue. Dude, don't just hate on it just because it's a big name. Don't hate on it because it's successful. I know we metalheads have a tendency to do that, so I can't say anything because I probably subconsciously do the same thing. But try to not do it. Yeah, try to recognize your bias based off of such things. This is a dynamite record. This Dokken album, dude, is so much fun. That's all I'm saying. It's old school heavy metal, dude. If you don't like it, it's your own problem. Next, some punk rock. This is the complete discography by Minor Threat. I don't listen to a ton of punk, but when I do, I tend to go for more of the super old school hardcore stuff. That's more my stuff, you know. I don't know a ton of punk. I watch Ground Zero Salem and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm here for it and I want to know. So I'm like trying. I'm really trying to be more of a punk guy. And this is a great record, dude. I had this playing, I don't know, I think it was yesterday, and I was like, this is catchy, this is fun. The song I Don't Want to Hear It is like a big one that sold me. I don't know what the big hits from Minor Threat are. I just kind of put it on and listened for a while, and it was really, really enjoyable. It's a super iconic cover. This would be a really sick t-shirt. Absolutely love it. Minor Threat. I know they were like a straight edge hardcore band, weren't they? Isn't that what they were? Their thing was, their shtick? Whatever. Next, this is Mob Rules by Sabbath. Another one that came out of the nicotine stained box. This is great. It's Dio era Sabbath. You guys have all heard this. This is nothing new. It's overlooked, I'd say, comparatively speaking to the rest of the Sabbath catalog. I mean, Country Girls on here, Falling Off the Edge of the World, over and over. Turn Up the Night. I think Turn Up the Night is probably the hit of this record. Hit, right? I don't know. You guys have all heard that. There's nothing I can say about that. Next, you guys probably heard this one too. I've been on an AOR kick for like 5 or 6 days, and I managed to go to the record store while that was happening, so I have a lot of this kind of stuff. But this is The Final Countdown by Europe. I've never heard like the rest of this album other than the title track, and it's fun, man. The song Cherokee's really, really good. Danger on the track, Rock the Night, On the Loose, Love Chaser. It's fun. It's stupid cheesy. It's definitely an influence on power metal, and if you do not see that, go and listen to this again, because it is everywhere. If you're telling me Stradivarius was not playing this at their practice space, setting up while eating their kebabs or whatever this morning, you're out of your mind, dude. This is awesome. It's super, super fun. Europe rules. Changed my mind. Lastly, I bought this as a nostalgia trip for the most part. I used to own this, obviously, as most young metalheads seem to do, at least in the millennial age category. And then I traded it away for something probably a lot cooler, and I saw it in a used bin for like $4, and I was like, I'm buying it again. This is Iowa by Slipknot. I know, poser alert, whatever, you're a dork. Never mind, I'm not gonna go there. I loved this when I was a kid, dude. I still put this on and I'm like, yes. This, for me, holds up way better than Lamb of God ever does. But this is just, it's fun. It's not serious music in my book. It's just it's enjoyable. It's a sing-along. I feel like I'm an angsty, like, 16-year-old again. I don't even think I liked this anymore when I was 16. More like an angsty 14-year-old. I was just all about this when I was young. And, you know, stuff like Disaster Piece, End of Everything, especially that. Or Skin Ticket. It just, I don't know, dude. This is just something I loved a lot, and I'm glad to have it back in the collection. But I'm gonna call it a day at that one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope y'all had a happy Thanksgiving as well. I'll be back next week with some more goodies. I'll see you guys next one. Keep it greasy.